Hey everyone, what's going on? Today we are doing the Shadows of Bitter Winter quest. To do this, you need to come out to the Shade of Faralaith by heading to Craigstone and then taking the Haliana portal. We came out here for the repaired Shadowstone quest, I believe, or one of the Shadowstone quests. So this guy's kind of tied to that Shadow lore, and he asks you to go into the temple, which has 3 wings. There's one brother in each of the wings. They've lost their names and their faces to the Shadow Corruption, but they still have their own weapons. So we're going to go to the South Wing first, which is on the right here. And we're going to make our way through the dungeon. So this is actually a really good place to farm for the shadow essence that you need to make shadow armor. The only thing to note about that, if you're doing that, is once you turn in the quest reward, you can no longer come into the dungeon. So if you're coming here to farm for, I actually have one in my inventory there, like the shadow pieces, you just want to make sure you don't actually turn the quest in. So this quest is for level 80 plus. It's definitely doable in that level range. You're just going to want to be careful and kill your way entirely through the dungeon. I just wanted to kill a couple of these to see if we could get a shadow drop, but not looking good so far. But if you're in the level range, you're definitely going to want to kill the entire way through the dungeon. All right, no drop. So let's just run through here. So we're going to continue heading south through these kind of twisty passageways, and then we're going to make sure we go east here and then south again. So I was thinking about clearing these, but then I realized they'll have shields. So my damage is completely miserable. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to heal up here, and then we're going to run into the final room. And we're just going to kill the boss. So you'll know the boss because this one's holding a spear and none of the other ones are. Definitely going to want to watch out for spells. Nice. So you hear the plaintive voice of the shadow that once was Barnaith cry out, "Faralaith, my brother, where is my older brother who said he would guide and protect me?" And then you're going to loot the spear of Barnaith off the ground and try not to die and run into the surface portal. So you're going to get dropped right back outside the Shade of Faralaith, who says, "I failed them all." You're going to hand over the spear. And you're going to get back the Spear of Winter Flame, which is the heavy weapons weapon for this quest. And you'll notice that it has Shadow Slayer, Crushing Blow, Biting Strike. So we're actually going to have to just drop this because we want the light weapons version. But this is the earliest in the game that you can get a Shadow Slayer, I believe. So this is actually a really nice quest if you... it's going to get you a new item, which is super useful. So next he asks you to go into the North Wing and seek out his brother who has the axe, which is going to be our light weapon, which is awesome. So now we're just going to want to head north, but actually you don't want to go straight here. You're going to want to go to the right, and then there's one ramp that goes down. So you want to make sure you catch this ramp down and then make your way north. The Shadow Phantoms, I think, are all the same in all the wings. So, fight your way through if you need to. Or run past. I wish I had a better weapon, but we're going to get a better weapon. So that's good. All right, so again, you'll know the Shadow Phantom that you need to kill by the one that has the axe. It's that old school axe model here, which is super cool. And there we go. Grab the Axe of Korrigaith. and hand that into the NPC. Nice. So now we got our own Shadow Slayer, which is going to make this last swing a lot easier. Now we're heading into the Temple East Wing, the last of the 3. Got some cool acid pits to run past. I do like that each section is different and they didn't just copy and paste, which they had a tendency to do at some points. All right, so we've got this Shadow Phantom here with the mace that we're going to kill now. And look at how quickly we killed that with this Shadow Slayer. So nice. And it actually does fire damage, so it's like the right damage type too. It doesn't have like the rend, so you know, it's not as good as like a fire rend weapon probably, if you're not volning. All right, so now we are going to hand the mace into the shade here. And we will get our reward, 10 million experience to get the Mace of Winterflame if you want the mace, and an untranslated journal. So the untranslated journal is important because we can get a second 10 million experience reward for that. Where did that go in my inventory? There we go. Farlaith's untranslated journal. That's going to be heading to Craigstone. We can turn that in. And of course, with this guy, we have to take the long, slow way. All right, so you're going to head to the library in Craigstone by the settlement portals, and we're not going to Bretzelf the Translator here. Actually, we're going to Edobar the Esoteric. You can hand over the journal to get another 10 million experience reward. It says, "What a fascinating account. I am immensely grateful you brought this to my attention. It sheds such a great deal of light on the mystery of Grail." And you're going to get Our Bitter Winter, which... yeah, I think it's like a 15-page story that talks about, you know, these brothers and how they were tricked by Grail. So if you want to read that, you could definitely read that, but I'm not going to go through that here. So that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. This is definitely a very good leveling quest for a level 80 character. And yeah, that's going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching. We will see you again in the next one.